Roommates probably hate me 'cause I called them out, and I'm not waiting to move out. I was gone for almost a year on a deployment. For context, I live with my fiancé, a roommate, and one other person who has been staying with us due to a situation with their home. I own a good 90% plus of everything in the house. Furniture, kitchen tools, appliances, TVs, etc. I was on paid leave for a while after I get home to decompress and relax and do some wedding planning. I am currently back at work. While I was gone, I told my fiancé the only thing I want is for the house to be clean, so I didn't feel like I had to clean up after everyone when I got home. Now, thing is, when I got home, my fiancé had to go to a wedding out of town. Roommate got sick and the other one had to travel. But when I got home, the house was in the worst shape I'd seen it, period. The stove hadn't been cleaned in probably a week or more, and I only say that because the stove was covered in burnt food and dried liquid. The living room was a mess, and I swept one small corner, and it filled an entire dustpan. The garage had enough things piled up in a mess that it looked like I could walk in there, and it'd be waist high. I cleaned almost every room in the house, and I spent a day on each room. The only rooms I didn't clean were our roommate's room, the garage, guest bathroom, and my office because the other person is sleeping in there and their stuff is just everywhere, not organized at all. The guest bathroom was covered in grime, dirt, and I don't want to know what else. You could look at the toilet and see the grime and not want to sit on it. I told every guest I brought over to use our bathroom in our room because I didn't want anyone sitting on that dirty toilet. I was so mad when I came home that I sat on my bed and cried. And I didn't even notice the full mess until the second day I was home because I didn't sleep at all the night before I came home. We were up all night, so I didn't notice much mess because I was so exhausted. Now it's been 2 months since I've been home, and no one genuinely cleans the house. The roommate will cook awesome, good for them. They're a good cook, but they will not fully clean the kitchen when they are done. They will leave the stove dirty, not clean the counters, and not sweep/mop the floor. The other guy will not clean at all. My fiancé helps and cleans up at other times, but no one fully cleans the house except for me. I have been fuming since I've been home because of this. I will go and clean every room and make it look nice, and then people will come through and do whatever they need to do and not clean up after themselves. I'm no saint. When I came home, I was so upset about the mess and having to clean it up that I acted like an AH. When the roommate's mom came over to drop off their cat, they were taking a bit, and I was like, can we go? I'm hangry as H3LL or something. They sat me down and was like, yo, what's wrong? And told me that one night when I got tipsy, not saying drunk, because I remember most of everything I said, or did, I said some not so nice things and it hurt their feelings. Which I honestly don't understand because the only thing I remember saying is how the truck I bought this person is still sitting idle with no work being done on it, and a good portion of what was dirty in the house could have been done while they were cooking or doing something else. I still apologize for being a turd, agreed to apologize to roommate's mom, and we moved on. I did, but also still didn't. Thing is, roommate said their mom thinks the mess is understandable because they're practically a frat house. Yes, the 30-something-year-old and 220. Something-year-olds are 100% a frat house, and it justifies them treating our landlord's home like trash, which, this house we're in, is the landlord's childhood home. To me, that statement just screams disrespect to someone else's home, and that you genuinely don't care. Right now, we're at a point where I have to ask the roommate to clean the air fryer when they're done using it because they'll let it sit with crumbs, oil, and other things in it for days on end, which is what I saw when I came home and went to use the air fryer at some point. It was full of oil, crumbs, and whatever else was in it from other times it was used, not just a little. It looked like over a month's worth of crumbs and grime. I know it hadn't been moved to be cleaned under or behind, either because there were oil stains on the wall tile behind the air fryer. Our griddle sat outside on a table covered in burnt food for almost a month because the last person that used it refused to clean it, and I refused to touch it because it P***s says me off. This roommate refuses to clean my air fryer because he says it will ruin the flavor and taste like soap after I asked him to clean it, and my fiancé asked him to clean it. And when I told him that's not how that works or I don't care or something, I get it. Bad response, he said, do you clean your cast iron skillet? Like an air fryer and cast iron skillet are the same thing. Then he wrote a note on the meal planner magnet on the fridge saying an air fryer doesn't need to be cleaned all the time. It ruins the flavor. They used my air fryer again and let it sit for 3 or 4 days with food, oil, and salt in it. I washed it today, they used it again, and I said, are you going to clean it this time? He said no, because it doesn't need to be clean. I told him that's fine. I'll be putting it up then because I'm tired of cleaning up after everyone. And he said he would go to his mom's to get his that we bought him for his birthday or Christmas or something one year. Can't remember. I told him that's fine, but I'm not letting you continue to ruin my sh*t by leaving food and grime in it. Also, how he planned to get to his mom's to get his air fryer. I don't know because, again, he has no working vehicle since he's let the one I bought him sit in the yard and hasn't done work on it since before I left for the deployment. My fiancé was a bit mad at me because this cleaning issue had been going on practically since I got home, and he wanted to talk to the roommate. Thing is, I was over it, and still am. My fiancé asked him to clean the air fryer before, and I've asked him, and he has blatantly refused to do so. Which, to me, just screams that you don't respect my things that I've brought in and am letting people use. Since they had that chat with me, I've bit my tongue. I feel like I've been nicer, but it's hard to say when one of them holes themselves up in their room. I really can't bite my tongue anymore. I'm tired of telling full-grown men to clean up after themselves. I'm tired of picking up after them, and I'm tired of asking for a clean home and them acting like I'm the bad guy because I want my home clean and free of bugs. I lived with roaches in the house my entire kid and teenage years when I was younger. That's the last thing I want to deal with now. I understand everyone having different lifestyles growing up, but it shouldn't be hard to simply respect someone's wishes of cleaning up their things when you're asked to. I hate being home now because of it unless it's just my fiancé and I at home. When they get home, my mood gets sour. I try and be nice. I chat and such, but I can't do this anymore and tolerate it. It sounds like such a stupid situation, and maybe it is, but why is it so hard to just clean up after yourself and respect someone else's things that they're letting you use? One of the roommates pretty much stays in their room all the time now and doesn't interact with anyone, at least when I'm home. I haven't spoken more than a handful of words to them. I usually am pretty good at just being chill, I feel like, but sometimes I get in a sour headspace, and it's hard to stay in a good mood. I don't know if it's just me putting off that negative atmosphere or whatever, though. The roommates, I'm pretty sure, 100% don't like me right now. Possibly because of my attitude, and possibly because I've been searching for houses for my fiancé and I to move in, to because I just can't stand being at home anymore. At first, with that chat, I mentioned we said we'd move out close to our wedding, or a little after like beginning/end of April, but as I said, I can't stand being at this house anymore. I was never quiet about looking for a house. I brought home newspapers, showed places to my fiancé, and was constantly talking about how I'm going to go view a place or my fiancé and I are going to go view a place. So we kept driving around town and found a place in our price range, talked to the LL and asked questions, asked if my fiancé and I would be able to move in at the end of February. They said yes. We applied and are waiting for a response. My fiancé told them a day or so ago that we may be moving out by end of February. We're still waiting to hear back from the LL about our applications. They aren't happy because they said they were tracking that it would be like probably after April and that they can't afford to move out. How one of them can't afford it, I don't know since he's not paying rent, just contributing to small bills. The other one works at the same place as my fiancé, and they both make at least $500/MNTH, and my fiancé and I went over his finances last night, and even with rent and such going by what my fiancé makes because they both make the same amount or very close to it, there is still so much room for this one roommate to put money into savings. He can't go anywhere because he has no running car and isn't paying insurance on the one I bought him. We all split bills 4 ways except rent because the other guy doesn't pay it, so electric, trash, internet, etc. wouldn't be more than $30 per person. But they still somehow can't cover all of one or more of their portion of bills, and my fiancé ends up covering for him. I personally think the almost 2-month time frame is more than enough time for them to find a place. At this point, my patience is gone, and so is whatever sympathy I had for them. I can't help that neither of them will watch what they're spending or try, and build their savings knowing they would have to find a place of their own some point soon. I'm ready to part from these people. I don't know if any of what I've said about myself makes me sound toxic. To me, it sounds like I'm putting up boundaries on how my things are treated, and they're mad that I called them out on their lack of cleanliness, and how they treat the house and other people's things. I am aware I do react on emotion a lot, not like screaming and yelling, but I do go quiet and don't talk to anyone or tell anyone how I'm feeling, or I usually leave the house for a while. I have been actively trying to get to therapy to work on things, but it has taken longer than I thought it would, so I haven't had any luck on getting an appointment just yet. But that's it so far, I guess.